Hey, it's Anthony Cumia. Other jewelers hate Steven Singer. Why? Because Steven Singer has the best real natural diamond stud earrings in America. Everybody knows gold and diamond prices are crazy right now. Gold at the highest price in history. That means ever. Lucky for you, Steven Singer has locked in his diamond studs at the old prices. Steven has diamond studs available from a quarter carat all the way up to 10 carats total weight. All at the same perfect price as last year. Same incredible value. There's no better time to get a pair of diamond stud earrings from Steven Singer Jewelers. Yes, this can't last forever. Each pair eye flawless, near colorless, beautiful stuff. They come with his safety silicone bags, so you never have to worry about losing them. Oh, okay. And with his unbeatable full-time value lifetime trade-in, you know your diamonds are always worth what you paid. All backed by the best guarantee in the jewelry business. It's a full 100-day, 100% no-hassle money-back guarantee. Plus fast free shipping. Experience the difference at Steven Singer Jewelers. Online at IHateStevenSinger.com. That's IHateStevenSinger.com.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
It is the Anthony Cumia Show. How is everybody? How is your weekend going? Great. I certainly hope so. And it is Sunday evening, so we will recap No Kings. Huh? Did you participate? Were you out there showing the world what an imbecile you are? Is that what you were doing? I went out into beautiful Greenville, South Carolina yesterday. Beautiful day. And, they were there. They were everywhere. They just crawled out of the woodwork and made their little signs. And you just seeing them walking down the sidewalks and reading their dopey signs. No kings, no tyranny, no dictatorships. Yeah, there are no kings, no tyranny, and no dictatorships. That's exactly what's happening. But you can't tell them anything. I kept it to myself. I mumbled under my breath. I didn't want to get into any altercations with them or try to ask them a question, because that's some of the funniest stuff on online. Social media platforms just packed with them trying to answer valid, kind of easy questions. I've said it before. If you profess to be so passionate about a cause that you're going to sacrifice your Saturday afternoon, your nice spring afternoon, protesting something, you would think you would have some clue as to what the hell it is that you're protesting. They don't. It's a big party for them. They're very childlike in their thinking. They have no real rationale, no ability to reason, to see what's right in front of their face. They're easily manipulated. And that's what the media does. The media manipulates people and politicians and, of course, Hollywood and some of your favorite music stars. They manipulate people for an agenda. And that is a lot of what we saw yesterday during the No Kings coverage. I swear I got, what were called douche chills. You get the goosebumps, the hair on the back of your neck stands up, and you go like, ugh. You're just embarrassed for somebody. And looking at those people dressed like idiots. It's a big costume party. And they're so proud of how many people they have at these events. They go, look, this is how many people care about this. And this is how many people are against Donald Trump. And yeah, great. Now what? Who cares, first of all? Second of all, like I said, if you question them as to why they're there, they cannot give you an answer. They refuse to give you an answer. Not out of any pact with their fellow protesters that don't talk to anybody. Screw them. they're incapable of giving you a rational answer. So they physically assault you, push you around. They try to grab whatever you're holding, your phone, a microphone, a bullhorn, a sign. They are constantly bitching that their rights are being taken away. That's one thing they'll say, is how Donald Trump has torn up the Constitution, ladies and gentlemen. Just ripped it up. And that's one of the nice ways of putting it. They have him, defecating on it. I think I saw a picture of some arts and crafts projects these dopes made. And one of them is Donald Trump actually defecating a big kind of almost a smaller version of a Macy's Thanksgiving parade balloon, only it's Donald Trump, and he's projectile defecating on the Constitution. That's what they do. They get together, a week before or so, and they make these things, and they laugh, and they have a little party. They don't really care about a cause. They don't care enough to figure out what the cause is to see if what they believe in and are protesting is even true or not. So they think the Constitution is being torn up and defecated on by Donald Trump. And then when they're out there protesting, if anybody that doesn't agree with them is also in their vicinity, they will try to squash their rights. You're not allowed here? Yeah, they are. You can't video any of us without our permission? Yeah, they can. Could you video the back of people because they don't want the front videoed? Doesn't matter. That sign is hate speech. No, it's not. My sign, whether it's anti-abortion or Donald Trump rules or whatever it is, trans children, there's no such thing as trans children. That one was making the rounds with some no kings protesters. And there was a woman got arrested on a sidewalk for preventing that man holding there is no such thing as trans children, preventing him from walking down the sidewalk. This woman was holding some type of no kings flag and was preventing a guy from walking. And the police confronted her. She refused to let this guy walk, said that his sign is hate speech, thinking that she could hold up whatever she wants. She could voice whatever opinion she wants to voice. But the second someone has a differing opinion, they must be ripping up the Constitution. They don't even understand the simplest of things, of other people's rights, where you start infringing on other people's rights. And they love putting their hands on people, and they're the first ones to say, don't touch me, when they're breaking the law, because what they're doing does not fall into peaceful protest. And the police grab them to cuff them, and they start screaming, don't touch me, leave me alone, assault. These are the easiest, most simple things that they should know. Wouldn't you assume you would learn the laws if you're going to go into Minneapolis, let's say, and you are going to protest? Wouldn't you brush up on the laws and some of the city policies and laws that local laws before you just go out and decide you're going to block people, block a street or the entrance to an ICE facility, or utilize fireworks or put your hands on other people or prevent other people from exercising their rights? Wouldn't you brush up on that? Because anytime they're asked about it, they don't know what the hell they are talking about. They think they are perfectly within their rights as Americans to infringe on other people's rights as Americans. And you're not. You're just not. They don't think that if you are in a public place, that you cannot prevent people from recording you You are in public. No one has a right to privacy in a public place, like a park or on roads or protesting outside for your No Kings cause. But they don't even want to learn the most basic of things, rules and regulations and actual laws. They don't have the time. They're too busy making signs and costumes and marching around like idiots, like complete buffoons. They are marching around. Again, that's why I find it so embarrassing, so completely embarrassing. And like I said, they were crowing about the number of protesters they had. True Americans, they were calling them, showing everyone what democracy looks like. And they were very proud of the celebrities that showed up. And then they put these posts on social media thinking we're supposed to read them and go, oh, boy. Oh, geez, they got Bruce Springsteen. They got Bon Jovi. Uh-oh. Bruce and Bon Jovi. We're sunk. We are sunk. And, you know, you try to remind them that Kamala Harris and Tim Walz had unbelievable crowds just before the election. They were filling arenas. And unlike Donald Trump, they had A-listers. Beyonce was showing up. Bruce was singing, and Jay-Z, and so many current pop stars. And what happened there? They lost the popular vote. They lost every swing state. And now with this protest, they take the same crowds, the same dopey celebrities, and go, there you go. This must mean the entire nation is right in line with what we think with no kings. Just embarrassing. We have just a collection of celebrities and politicians and everybody that was taking part in the No Kings. I hate even saying it. It's so embarrassing. Taking part in the No Kings protests. And we will get to those when we return. Also, your phone calls, 800-848-9222. Want to hear what you think about the No Kings protest when we return.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. Welcome. And I was talking about the celebrities, the great celebrities, the celebrated people, the beautiful people, the glitterati. And they were out there. Oh, they love it, marching. One of my favorites, of course, Bobby D. Robert De Niro was out there holding a sign, flanked by the likes of Letitia James and Reverend Al Sharpton. They rolled his California raisin head out of cold storage, and he was marching. And he always puts on that stupid somber face because he wants to be like Martin Luther King, you know. So he puts on the somber face as they hold the big banner at the lead of the march. And, all the "We Shall Overcome." And then there's Bobby De Niro right next to him. Again, so embarrassing. I was watching some clips from Once Upon a Time in New York. I think that was it. Once Upon a Time in America. And there's Robert De Niro, one of his first roles in a Scorsese movie. And, God, was that good. And to this day, though, well, not to this day, now, recently, relatively speaking, you just look and go, oh, this idiot, this jackass. He destroyed his film legacy I'll still watch his movies because they were good movies. But there's always this, I'll look and go, oh, right, this guy's a jackass. So Bobby D, he was there, and he spoke, had a few words for people. AC 16, the first clip.
The concept of no kings is a great rallying cry, and hugely successful as millions of us have answered the call. I support this movement 150%. 100%. But when the crowds are chanting no kings, what I'm really hearing, as we all know, is no Trump.
That's right.
There have been other presidents who have tested the constitutional limits of their
Hooked
power.
on phonics worked for me.
But none have been such an existential threat to our freedoms and security. None, except Trump.
Wow.
He must be stopped, and he must be stopped now.
Amen.
It's time to say no to kings. It's time to say no to Donald Trump. We've had enough. No King Trump. No unnecessary wars that rob our resources, sacrifice our brave servicemen and women, and slaughter innocents. No corrupt leader enriching himself and the Epstein class buddies. No taking away health care from our most vulnerable neighbors. No unaffordable
Illegal
groceries.
aliens.
No unaffordable energy. No unaffordable housing. And no inflation at its highest level since COVID.
What?
No government masked thugs shooting down our neighbors in the streets. Trump has to be stopped.
Has to be stopped. Inflation higher than since COVID? Look, believe me, I would love inflation to come down even more. I would love the prices to come down. But to not acknowledge the inflation under Joe Biden's puppet regime, Bobby De Niro, is at the very least insincere. Most likely a crock of crap. He just lies because he's so... What did Trump do to this guy? What did Trump do to Bobby De Niro over the course of the years in New York? Take one of your broads, screw you on a real estate deal? Because this guy is more like holding a grudge than just talking about a president he doesn't agree with. De Niro's been through quite a few presidents in his life, Republican and Democrat. And, Trump is in there and he's losing his mind. So here's another clip from De Niro. I don't know if he cursed in this one. I hope you guys cleaned it up. If not, be on the lookout and dump out if he curses. Here's more Bobby D at No Kings.
How can this be happening? Look at the power of the No Kings national uprising. Look at the
I
power
can't even read
of
at
the
this
No
point.
Kings national uprising. Afraid of Trump?
Do it again.
Please. No, they should be more afraid of us.
That's right. Yeah.
More afraid of us, not Trump. Oh, gosh. It's, again, they've blown things up. There are plenty of things I do not agree with Donald Trump on. I really do not like how this Iranian war, military operation, police action, whatever you want to call these things, it looks like a war to me. And, I'm not happy about the way that's looking. It's looking a little more protracted than we were being led to believe. I don't know how much potential Iran has to wreak havoc in the region and to Americans. I don't like the idea of hearing that certain parts of the 82nd Airborne are thought to be deployed or preparing to deploy. I don't like any of that. Yeah, people tell me all the time, they go, hey, Anthony, what about the, no new wars? I go, I think it was no, never-ending wars. But, yeah, I agree, no new wars. It's very hard to promise that there's not going to be any military actions when you campaign or get into office. You could assure the people that to the best of your ability, you're not going to put the American military in a situation where they will be somewhere for a long period of time unless it directly impacts the safety of this country. That I understand. But to say no, absolutely no new wars, that's ridiculous. And I do remember saying no never-ending wars. You know, what was that, 10 years in Afghanistan or whatever it was, maybe even more. So I get that part of it. And I get people that are mad that any war is being started. I don't like it either. And again, I don't like the direction it looks like it's going in. This doesn't look like they're going to wrap it up very quickly. And that's not a good thing, especially with the midterms coming up. It could be the worst move a president could have made before a midterm election. Unless he can get this thing resolved, come out of it looking like something was accomplished before the midterms. Yeah, if we're still, I'm talking to the people in Iran. If we're still doing that come summertime and fall before the midterms, we're sunk. So I don't know. I'm not just automatically agreeing with Trump. But to think that he's a king because he's doing this, so many presidents have entered into military action without congressional approval under the War Powers Act. And he's not breaking any constitutional laws as president as far as that goes. I don't like it, but I don't see anything being broken. Many of the things that the left and the No Kings protesters are complaining about and protesting are not illegal. They are well within the parameters of the President of the United States. But they want to label him as a king. Oh, he's a king. Is he? How? Answer that. How is he being a king? And that's one of the questions. They go, I don't know, George. I just follow everyone else with my sign. And what are we supposed to do? Look at them with respect? Oh, yes. This is how democracy works. Really? You get a bunch of dummies, the imbeciles, to march around in wacky costumes, not knowing why they're even out there? You empty the retirement communities, and the moron schools. All right, we'll be back with your calls and plenty more when we continue with the Anthony Cumia Show.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. Thanks for tuning in. If you have a question or a comment about the show or anything else, Anthony Cumia on X. Easy as that. Just my name. You could comment. I'll scroll through that during breaks and maybe talk about your comment on anything we're discussing this evening. Let us go to Joaquin over there in Pennsylvania. What's up, man?
Hey, good evening, Anthony. I got to tell you, you're quite the wordsmith. I love that one, cornucopia of imbeciles. That's fantastic.
Thank you, man.
And you know something? This No Kings BS, I've almost made a Sandra mistake there. Yeah. Anyway, I watched a woman on Instagram, right? And she was commenting on this whole No Kings. And these people out there, they're shouting death to Israel, death to America, and communist flags. This is a real anti-American movement. Yep. And, the problem is that this is what has happened in other countries that have been overthrown and overtaken by communists and by Muslims. And if we don't wake up and smell the coffee and start putting an end to this, we're going to have a real problem. And the only thing is that when you had commented about, them being able to infringe on people in Minneapolis, the left can infringe on anyone on the right that they want and get away with it. There will be no consequences. So
that's what it looks like. That's from what I've seen. They do it all the time, And they actually believe it's not even like they're ashamed of it or they're trying to do it behind someone's back, like behind the police's back. They honestly believe that they are absolutely right in whatever they're doing, and they're just ignorant.
You know, and the thing of it is that, unfortunately, I don't understand why, Americans are not taking pride in their country, and and the educational system is just completely destroying us from the inside out, from grade school on up through college, and particularly in the universities. If we don't start looking at this educational system as a national security issue, we're dead. And quite frankly, when it comes right down to it, there's nothing left anymore of Western society except for, America, Israel, Poland, maybe a couple, of the Eastern European countries, maybe possibly Japan, but everybody else is just surrendering to the Muslim invasion. And that's the other thing, they keep talking about Islamophobia, right? And they keep talking about the rise of anti-Semitism. The only reason why they bring that up is simply so that they can make all kinds of laws to stop any kind of comments on the Muslim invasion of this country.
Yeah, we've already seen what happens in the UK. If you post something on social media, the cops come to your door and they say that's hate speech, and in some cases they arrest the people just for commenting. It's a way of preventing people from bringing up the real issue that Islam and the influx of Islam into Western nations is screwing up the demographics and completely destroying the cultures of these nations. And if you say anything about it, you're an Islamophobe, and you're subject to arrest in a lot of these places.
And the thing of it also too is that a lot of these places, I mean, Islamophobia. I'm so sorry. My mind just went blank on me for a second. The whole problem of it is that there's certain cultures that cannot coexist together in the same land, within the same borders, and that has to be obvious to people, because any place where where the Muslims where Islam takes over, it becomes the majority. It becomes an Islamic-run state
every single time. Every single time. That is, if you look at history, you will see that Islam has gone into a lot of civilized Western nations over the course of history, and they take over, and it becomes a Muslim. And the only way to get them out is through some type of military action. They don't just leave. And their motive for coming into the country in the first place is exactly that. To see these leaders, I use the term very loosely, saying that they're welcome and they contribute so much to our country, it's a blatant lie, and they're suicidal as far as their country goes. They're killing the culture and traditions of their country. Joaquin, thank you, my friend. Thank you. But getting back to no kings, and Joaquin's right, it's an anti-American protest. They are protesting. They are waving flags. They are chanting slogans. And the very basis of it, that Donald Trump is a king, some kind of monarch that is breaking all the rules and laws. And meanwhile, he's not. He's not. You are protesting the way this country works. He was elected president. Laws get passed. Executive orders that you might not like get signed. I saw Joe Biden sign plenty of them that we didn't like. And you got to wait until the next guy gets in. And if it's your guy, maybe he signs executive orders doing away with those. It's been how it worked. It's been the way it's worked for quite some time. So for them to go, this is democracy. What? Crapping on the country? Waving hammer and sickle communist flags, all kinds of flags from other countries, talking about Donald Trump as a king when he's doing nothing more than being the president of the United States. Yeah, they're insane. Here's Mike Farrell. You might remember him as B.J. Honeycutt from MASH. 1 million years ago. This guy, as with a lot of these celebrities, especially the ones that are considered boomers now. They're all aged out hippies. These were, your groovy hippies back in the day, protesting, F the man and the government man. And they've taken them out of cold storage. So many people from retirement communities. I saw this in Greenville when I went into town. You think of protest, you think a bunch of young activists, scholars, and what do you get? You get walkers. They're with their little aluminum walkers, their hurricane with the headlight. And that's who's out there marching. They take them out of their retirement home for the day. They throw a sign in their hand, and they march around not knowing what the hell they're doing. Instead of visiting with their grandkids, maybe. I don't know. But Mike Farrell, again, the hyperbole, the hypocrisy. I mean, does he realistically believe what he's saying and want to consider, he wants to consider ICE agents as Gestapo? Really? Do you think maybe you're overselling it a bit? Let's listen to Mike Farrell.
Anyone who might be here, perhaps out of uniform and unmasked, from the Gestapo, also known as ICE or the Border Patrol, also known as brutes with guns, who might be here spying, looking for decent human beings who are unacceptable to them, who are different, suspect people because they might be deemed to be potentially illegal because their skin is not satisfactorily white.
What?
Or they speak an accented English. They may also be looking for anyone they decide might be a domestic terrorist because that person may speak words that suggest opposition to the Trump agenda. If you're here in opposition to the Trump agenda, and if that defines you as being domestic terrorist, then you need look no further. I'm standing right here.
Yeah. Woo! DJ.
I was born in South St. Paul.
All right, shut up. BJ Honeycutt right there from MASH, Mike Farrell. Oh. What again, Gestapo? Really? Brutes with guns and they're hauling away brown people because they don't like their skin color and people that have a differing opinion. Is that really what ICE is doing? Or are they grabbing up not supposedly illegal aliens and deporting them? They're trying to equate it to the Gestapo is, quite the jump. And then trying to just lie about what ICE is actually doing, make it seem like they're out there just grabbing brown people off the streets or people with differing opinions, domestic terrorists. Sorry, Mike Farrell, but young white men have already been dubbed the domestic terrorists of this country. Joe Biden, plenty of them. Plenty of the Democrats in the Senate and Congress have already said that young white men are the domestic terrorists in the United States. Remember? You remember that? No? So, again, they get up there, they lie through their teeth, they get their applause. They were applauding Gestapo. That's kind of funny. Right? The Gestapo. Woo! Gestapo! And, just to get that moment, that he remembers walking around when MASH was on the air. Hey, BJ Honeycutt, can I get an autograph? And he stands in front of this crowd of retards, and, he gets some applause, and he feels all good about himself. If you're looking for a domestic terrorist, you need look no further than Klinger, that transgender. But no, it's Mike Farrell. He's the domestic terrorist. No one is. ICE is not running around like that. But this is what they believe. This is honestly what these celebrities and everybody protesting actually believes. Let's talk to, of course, Sandra. Sandra, what's up?
Oh, hi, Anthony.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Great.
Anthony, I wanted to say that this protesting against the king, if they only would realize, watch what you're wishing for, because I learned something that's going on in China. Very, very scary and evil. Do you want to hear it? It's important.
All right, but stay on track here, Sandra.
Well, the point is, if you disagree with China, communist China, you get punished. And you know what happens to you? They're basically taking anyone who doesn't agree with their religion, putting them in jail. They take their blood. They take their blood, and then they appraise the different body parts, and basically they put them up for transplants.
They take their organs. Nice.
Yeah, this is scary. And 169 hospitals have signed up for this. This is going on for a very long time. It started out with just prisoners. Now, if you don't agree with their religion, you are in jail. And when someone comes to the hospital, they want a transplant, they have to wait a week and a half. They
Sounds
get
like
what
a
they
horror
want.
movie.
It is
All right.
a horror movie. So that's why people shouldn't complain about Donald Trump. That's my point.
If he was a real king, Sandra, they would. All these protesters and everyone would have faced tanks like Tiananmen Square. They would have faced gulags like Moscow or gallows. They would have faced a gallows for disagreeing with the king. What king lets people off the hook like Donald Trump? Sandra, thank you, my dear. And, I was like, no kings. I would take Longshanks over Kamala Harris. Talk about no kings. I would take, the king of England back in the day, Braveheart, Longshanks. Who is this person who speaks to me as if I needed his advice? I would take him in a second over Kamala Harris. So you'd want to talk about no kings. And then I agree with the only time I agree with no kings is when I'm sitting on pocket aces against pocket kings, and we're both all in. Then I'm like, no kings. Other than that, I don't know. I don't think he's really being a king. I think he's made some poor judgment errors, and I'm not happy with some of the stuff going on. But I would take it over Kamala Harris in a second. In a second. Imagine another 4 years on top of Joe Biden's 4 years of a wide open border. It is bad right now. There are tens of millions of illegals in this country. So many that you can't even get a straight answer as to how many. You hear 12 million, then you hear 15, 30, 50, and no one can really say what it is. I believe it is closer to 50 million. And that would have went unimpeded. There would not have been a difference unless it increased if Kamala Harris was elected. And again, the only reason that they let in that many illegals and the only reason they don't want voter ID, it doesn't take a genius to put that 1 + 1 together and get 2. They want illegals voting Democrat. And they will never, ever lose an election again. You will never see a president or a House or a Congress or a Senate that have any conservative ideology. It would be all this liberal, insane nonsense. And that's why they did it. And having Trump in there at least shut the door I don't know, Anthony. I would like to see a lot more deportations. Yeah, me too. I'm not running a cheerleading squad about the amazing numbers of illegals that are being thrown out of the country. At least they're trying. And at least they slam the door shut. And I also don't want legal immigration. You get a lot of these people that go, I don't mind immigration as long as it's legal, but we got to get these illegals out. No, everyone. Stop letting in anyone right now. Straighten up. Straighten up this country. And then maybe in the distant future, if we have a manpower shortage that hasn't been solved by Elon Musk's robots, yes, I said robot, then maybe we open up the doors again to nations that are of similar ilk to the U.S., that have people that are intelligent, have similar IQs, similar morals and scruples, not opening up the door to every third world crap hole and letting those burdens invade cities in this country, because that's where we're at, even with legal immigration. Very burdensome to our economy, law enforcement, the taxpayers. Can't have that. No. But, that's what they're doing. And then they protest. They say Donald Trump's a king. They want him impeached. And you get your politicians. We had a few of them out there with the celebrities. And they're using this as a podium to spew their lies and nonsense about the president and about how democracy is supposed to work and how a huge portion, the majority of the country, think like they do. It doesn't. What were there, 8 million people nationally? 8 million people? That's a small percentage of America. The rest of America decided to stay home, enjoy their Saturday, maybe barbecue, go boating. They weren't dressing up in freak furry costumes and protesting something they had no clue what they were protesting about. Plenty more. Oh, my God. Jane Fonda, Joy Reid, Jamie Lee Curtis, John Lithgow, all the A-listers spewing their nonsense. Next.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. We're talking right now about the No Kings crap show that happened nationally yesterday. Beautiful Sunday afternoon in a lot of the country, and these people decided to go out and parade around in dumb costumes, waving dumb signs. And, celebrities were out there. And, boy, people, what a treat. People got to hear the vocal stylings of the boss. Yes, Bruce Springsteen was out there. I believe he went to Minneapolis. You think it's a publicity thing? He's kicking off a tour, a big No Kings tour, where I'm sure the centerpiece of his set list will be his Minneapolis song. This is so cringeworthy. It's Bruce Springsteen. It sounds to me, I'm pretty what the kids call hip as far as AI technology goes. And I've heard a lot of AI songs. I've seen people put together AI music for song parodies and things like that. And this Bruce Springsteen Streets of Minneapolis song, it reeks of being made by AI. The lyrics are hokey. They're put together in a way where it sounds like AI. You could just tell if you're familiar with AI songs, AI written songs, it sounds like that. And then the music is just this stock generic Bruce Springsteen garbage. and you put those together, and boy, it sure ain't like chocolate and peanut butter making a Reese's. It's dog crap is what it is. So here it is, AC-21, that clip, Bruce Springsteen singing at No Kings, Man.
It told us that this is still America.
America.
And this reactionary nightmare and these invasions of American cities will not stand.
Invasion? It's the illegals invading.
You gave us courage. And for those who gave their lives, Renee Good, mother of 3, brutally murdered. Alex Preddy, VA nurse, executed by ICE.
Executed.
Shot in the back and left to die in the street without even the decency of our lawless government investigating their deaths.
Lawless government? I mean, how much more crap
Their bravery, their sacrifice, and their names will not be forgotten.
Yeah, let's listen to it. Well, I ran the Jersey Shore with a girl in a car and
down Nicollet Avenue, a city of flame fought fire and ice, neath an occupier's boots. King Trump's private army from the DHS, guns belted to their coats. Came to Minneapolis to Minneapolis, or so their story goes.
Ugh, he shoehorned Minneapolis in there, didn't he?
Against smoke and rubber bullets. Well, about dawn's early light.
Dawn's early light, I'd sue him. That line's been used before.
Her voice is ringing through the night. And there were bloody footprints where mercy should have stood. 2 dead left to die on snow-filled streets. Alex Preddy and Renee.
Oh, God. Here comes the chorus. Come on.
Minneapolis.
Oh, good. Good. I'm a glutton for punishment. Like, I love hate watching things and hate listening to things. And that is a great hate listen. Minneapolis. Oh, wait, it's got an AI sound to it. Like you just ask AI, okay, hey, Mr. AI, take everything that happened during the ICE operations in Minneapolis and put it to music in the style of Bruce Springsteen. And it would spit that out. Well, the Somalis are up there ripping off child daycare centers. And no, not that. Stop that. Well, you got a woman up there. She married her brother to get into the country. No. Ilhan Omar had sex with her brother, and no. The other thing, the the ICE stuff. God, he is the worst, and that voice has just gotten. What happened to hey baby? Even if we're just dancing in. I understand he's aging out there, but oh. Boy, is that embarrassing. How embarrassing. Bruce Springsteen. Yeah, you didn't mention a few other things. I'm kind of running out of time on this break. But, yeah, in the next hour, we'll continue talking about this. We'll take your calls. And there's a few people that Bruce doesn't mention in his song that I would like to mention in this show. When we return, back in a moment.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show. Thanks for the support. Tuning in on a Sunday evening. We do so appreciate it. And talking about the ridiculous No Kings rally, I saw them in Greenville. I saw the videos of them all over, and I just don't get it. The stupidity of so many people, too. So many people. So stupid. And Bruce, you know, he was out there singing his streets on the streets of Minneapolis. Hell and fire and ice and the blood and the... Oh, God. So he was talking about when ICE... lyrics of his wonderful song there. When ICE invaded Minneapolis and murdered, executed. He uses words like that, murder and execution. And I just wanted to go through a few names here over the past few years, like during the Biden administration. And these are just a few that Bruce doesn't mention. He mentions a woman, Renee Good, who tried to drive her vehicle into ICE agents. One in front of her vehicle, one on the door, trying to open the door of her vehicle. And she was summarily dispatched, and they determined that the police acted within their parameters. And then the other guy, Preddy, whatever his friggin', he had a gun on him. Was he reaching for it? A cop took his gun out. They heard a gun fire. Don't have all those details yet. That hasn't all been looked at and investigated yet. But another guy, you don't carry a gun and then get into a physical altercation with the police. You're looking to get yourself damaged. So he mentioned those two, like ICE rolled in that day just deciding they wanted to kill people. Hey, we're in Minneapolis. Let's just murder people. And that's how Bruce presents it in that song. He doesn't mention a few people. Laken Riley, of course, the nursing student from Georgia, 22, beaten to death while jogging. Suspect Jose Ibarra, Venezuelan national, in the U.S. illegally. Rachel Morin, 37, mother of 5 in Maryland, abducted while hiking, bludgeoned, strangled by a suspect from El Salvador. Previous crimes entered illegally. Jocelyn Nungary, 12 years old, raped, murdered, 2 Venezuelan suspects charged, entered illegally. Kayla Hamilton, 20, bound, assaulted, strangled in her home. Suspect, illegal. Elizabeth Medina, 16, stabbed to death in her apartment. Suspect, Rafael Romero, Mexican national, visa issues reported. Here in this country, illegally. Ivory Smith, 7, killed in a Dewey crash. The suspect, Venezuelan, illegal. Alex Wise, 10 years old, hit-and-run crash. Repeat offender, illegal. The list goes on and on and on. Megan Boss, 37, decapitated and body concealed. Suspect, Luis Mendoza Gonzalez, illegal, from Mexico. Where are they represented in Bruce's song? Where it would take up the entire song, by the way, if you added in all of the people in this country that were murdered by illegals. And these weren't cops doing their job, being threatened. These are truly innocent people. Truly innocent people. And they were murdered. Just like Sheridan Gorman in Chicago, Illinois. Out with friends, having a nice little walk. And an illegal took her life, shot her. No reason whatsoever. They weren't doing anything. There's an alderman, some woman alderman in Chicago that actually had the balls to get in front of a microphone and say that, well, maybe she was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. And then went on to say, maybe they walked on the pier where she was shot and startled the guy with the gun, and he fired. Anything to try to blame the victim. Anything to try to protect the illegal murderer, the alien murderer that is in this country. They will go to any length they can. And you got to ask yourself why. What is the gimmick? What's the upside for anyone to defend these people that have been murdering innocent Americans to the point where they won't even, they'll victim blame? Maybe she startled the illegal with a gun instead of saying, why the hell was an illegal with a gun walking around in Illinois? Well, because it's a sanctuary state. Chicago is a sanctuary city, right? Exactly. So they don't care about their own citizens. J.D. Pritzker, as a matter of fact, let me see if I can find the clip here. J.D. Pritzker, AC2. He points to national failures for the Loyola students' killing. That would be Sheridan Gorman. This is more victim blaming, more apologizing for the murderer. Listen to JB's take on this case.
I agree there have been real failures. Those failures, of course, extend beyond the borders of Illinois. They're national failures, a failure to have comprehensive immigration reform, a failure of the president to follow his own edict to go after the worst of the worst.
Can you believe that? It's infuriating. He's blaming Trump and Trump's policies of ICE and deportation and closing the border. Everything Trump has done since he took office, he's blaming that for Sheridan's murder by an illegal in their sanctuary state and sanctuary city of Chicago, Illinois, instead of saying, well, maybe we shouldn't have illegals in our state that might be startled while they're carrying a gun. It's infuriating. It really is. And this guy, who votes for him? Brandon Johnson's another one, the mayor of Chicago. You want to talk about someone who is just colorblind to this whole thing, and I don't mean racially. He's one of the most racist mayors in the country. But here he is dedicating a Chicago snowplow truck called Abolish ICE. That's what the truck is called, Abolish ICE, because, snowplow, get it? This was days after an illegal murdered Sheridan Gorman, and he decides to dedicate a truck with Abolish ICE written on the side. The very agency that could have saved Sheridan Gorman if Illinois and Chicago weren't sanctuary states and cities. If this guy who had previous arrests, if they would have tipped off ICE and said, hey, we have this guy. He's locked up in Chicago. Come get him and deport him. That's how it should work in this country. That's how things should operate. But instead, they let this guy run around. They did not inform ICE that they had an illegal alien, a criminal illegal alien in their state, in their city. And this guy was allowed to murder Sheridan Gorman. And he's dedicating a truck with Abolish ICE on it. Yeah. That's what he thinks is the appropriate thing to do when an innocent person is killed because of your policies. He said recently, you cannot incarcerate violence away. You can't remove violence through incarceration. Yes, you can. If this guy had been incarcerated, then Sheridan would be alive. He would not have been able to perpetrate violence against an innocent woman, a student going to school in your damn state and city, and she would have been alive. That incarceration would have stopped the violence that murdered her. Yet Brandon Johnson gets up there and says we cannot incarcerate our way out of this violence. They go to the most extreme lengths to protect these vicious, savage criminals that are murdering innocent people in this country. And it's for votes. It's for power. It is to keep the Democrats in power, to get more power on a national level. Letting illegals vote could be the presidency, could be the House, could be the Senate. And they know it. They know the majority of Americans do not want these policies, regardless of what you see on a No Kings rally video. So that's just disgraceful. I'll play the Brandon Johnson clip in a little bit, but we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. And talking about a few things. Of course, the big rally, the big protest yesterday, No Kings. And more celebrities, because they're just more important than us. They're better than us, and they need to be heard from and obeyed. So here is, let's get to Jane Fonda. This woman, this anti-American mess, privileged, delusional, people from the Vietnam War era remember vividly her sitting on a North Vietnamese anti-aircraft gun, a gun that was used most certainly to kill American airmen, to shoot down their planes where they'd be imprisoned in POW camps that were beyond horror, beyond a nightmare, terror. And there she was, smiling with the NVA on that anti-aircraft emplacement, wishing that our soldiers would be killed by the North Vietnamese and the Viet Cong. That's Jane Fonda. Somehow she's held on long enough to where people, I guess, have forgotten that. A lot of people don't care. And now she's part of this whole anti-American movement where they'll get out and protest and call for socialism, communism, the dismemberment of children for the trans community, taking healthy organs off of them. Jane loves all this stuff, loves it. So she was there with irrelevant former MSNBC newswoman, Joy Reid at the No Kings rally. This is AC23. Let's hear from Jane Fonda.
Don't just come to No Kings. Bring 5 friends. Bring people who haven't gone to protesting before. No Kings is like a first step. You know, it's like reaching out a hand and saying, come on, there's a room for everybody here. You'll have fun. You'll meet new people.
Yes. And you can protest and look cute while doing it. Listen, get out there and No Kings it. Arrive with 5. Don't go anywhere alone in these autocratic streets. Arrive with 5. No Kings, because guess what? We are the United States of America, and we don't do kings.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Sorry. I think that's
Joy Reid and Jane Fonda. Arrive with 5. Why does everything have to rhyme? Well, you got to come up with a little rhyme for everything. If anyone I even knew, friend, acquaintance, business associate, came up to me and said, "Hey, I'm looking for 5 more people to take to the No Kings protest," I don't know how I'd react, but it certainly wouldn't be to go. And I don't think I'd ever speak to that person again. They want more people. They needed more people to go. So here's Jane, and she's reading a statement from Renee Good's wife. Of course, Renee Good and Renee Good's wife were in Minneapolis when Renee decided it was a good idea to try to run over ICE agents and was taken care of. She found out, as they say. And the wife is feeling pretty guilty, I would assume, because she kind of coaxed her, telling her to go, drive away. And she got to be feeling it. Good. You make mistakes. Whoops-a-daisy. People get hurt. So here she is reading a statement, Jane Fonda reading a statement from Renee Good's wife. Let's see how Renee Good's wife.
Part of the Republican Party?
Uh-huh. That's right.
AC 24? Yeah. Yeah, we'll see how Renee Good's wife tries to rationalize her aiding and abetting her wife getting shot in the face 3 times.
The reality is I am so heartbroken. I miss my wife. The world now knows that my wife sparkled with sunshine and shone
Sunshine
with
sparkled
kindness
through the
that
holes
is
in her head.
unmatched. We were robbed of an incredible human. It has made people pause and take a breath and have to choose sides. We choose the
I choose
side
sides, mashed
of
potatoes
love.
and grilled
Yes.
asparagus.
I did not ask to be thrust into the spotlight or to be expected to speak out. It's a circumstance I unfortunately found myself in. But regardless of how I arrived here, I feel it's my responsibility to send a message that hate has divided us and destroyed so many lives and families. But we can choose something else. We can choose radical kindness. So let's do this.
They always come up with some stupid-ass slogan. Radical kindness. And that Jane Fonda voice. And she's talking over her dentures. You can kind of hear she's trying to keep those choppers in. My wife was a sparkling person. Oh. Yeah, well, you should have stayed home with her. How about, your wife going, hey, let's go to let's go to an ICE operation. Let's go where ICE agents are literally trying to lock up dangerous criminal illegals, and we'll get in their way. Doesn't that sound like a fun time? Instead of sitting on the couch and watching some horrible Netflix lesbo movie? Yeah. And then when I get out of the vehicle, I'll tell you, because the cops are coming over to arrest you for impeding their investigation and blocking traffic, and you were committing some infractions there. You did not obey the officers. And your wife, who wrote that lovely statement, told you to drive away. Told you to hit the gas and drive away, which she did. There was an ICE agent in front of her vehicle. Whoops. And, we all know the rest of that story. So having Jane Fonda read your statement, don't really do too much for me. I'm not really feeling it. But this Jane Fonda, everything that's going on in this country, she feels she's got to get her snout into. And then who else did she have? She had one of these old folk singers out there with her. They're dredging them up from the old hippie retirement home and bringing them out, and all these boomers and old fogies are coming out, and they're the ones protesting. They're the ones going to make a change, man. Get in your retirement home room, play Parcheesi with your friends, and you know, get out of everyone's way. You're in people's way now. You know when old people are at a function, they're just kind of in the way. They're in the way of a working, operating country that has some issues it needs to deal with without grandpa or grandma getting in the way. Sit in your recliner in the side of the room. You know how that works? And then you visit, and you see him there, and you go, "Oh, hi. How you doing? Give me a kiss." And then you go into the kitchen and talk with the people that aren't quite as dementia-riddled and falling apart as the person in the lazy boy recliner. They're in the way. That's all it is. But they've convinced these people with this, because they're the only ones that continue to watch CNN and all the other news, even Fox News, even that's crap. But they're the ones watching it. No one else under the age of 60 is watching the news, especially like network news, ABC, NBC, CBS. They're not watching that. Old people are. And they still believe it. They still think Walter Cronkite is yapping with them. They believe everything. And the propaganda media fills their withering brains, their dried up prune brains, and this is what we get. All right, we'll be back in a moment. Stick around.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. Let's talk to Larry. Staten Island Larry. What's up, man?
Hey, Ed, to you and all our brothers and sisters, have a happy, holy, and safe week. We're coming into a very blessed week, and
yes,
be careful.
Indeed.
And now, I want to have another comment about these clowns with the No Leadership Weekend. Before that, I watched you on a podcast this week, and I got to tell you, you resemble me. You resemble to me. You look like a combination of Paul Castellano and Pat Cooper.
Paul Castellano. Hopefully before he decided to get a steak at Sparks Steakhouse.
Well, it would have still been alive if he would have duck.
Yeah. Oh, that's kind of funny. All right, Larry, you want to talk about, of course, ICE was all over the airports.
Yes.
They were taking some of the duties of TSA that wasn't there.
Yes.
You got a take on that?
Yes. I want to congratulate and salute the ICE officer who on Wednesday in JFK Airport, there was a father online holding his 1-year-old infant who was limp, not breathing, nothing. That officer responded, jumped into action, Heimlich the baby started breathing again, and saved that baby's life. Now, I want to just comment also about the Abbott and Costello of the Democratic Party, who is Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck E. Cheese Schumer.
Yeah.
They were a week before commenting, "Oh, they're going to be in the airports. They're going to be killing people." I salute that officer who took the extra step, and saved that baby's life. God bless him, and I'm sure his family will love that the IS forever.
Yeah. Yeah, we saw how people really did appreciate ICE in these airports. Not the one or two protesters who felt like they felt the need to go into airports that are stressful and people don't want to be there in the first place in a lot of cases, and especially with the TSA problems. And then to have these yelling imbeciles roaming around, talking crap to the ICE agents, that was the rare exception to what was really going on. The people in those airports were thankful to the ICE agents that were handing out water, literally, like you said, Larry, saving children from suffocating, from dying, choking to death, and making it a little easier to get through the airports. And people recognized that, and they were being very cool to the ICE agents who were being very cool. Now, the panicky Pete's like Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, who said this is going to be pandemonium, it's going to get worse. These are murderers. They've killed people on the streets. Who knows what they're going to do in the airport? And I was talking about this on a podcast. It's like when the National Guard gets deployed. They were deployed in a lot of combat situations for this country. They went overseas. They fought. Yeah. They killed. They were killed. They saw horrible things. They had to do horrible things. And then in other cases, they come back to the States and there's a natural disaster. And the National Guard has to go out and hand out food, water, conduct rescues. Does Hakeem or Chuck Schumer have to say to the National Guard, hey, don't go in there to save people and just start mowing them down with your weapons and throwing grenades at them? Because I know that's what you did when you were deployed in Iraq or Afghanistan. It's so insane to think that ICE working TSA at the airport is the same thing as them going out and trying to arrest hostile, violent, illegal aliens and having people interfere with their jobs and have to be arrested, or when their life is in danger, have to be dispatched.
Anthony, they are trained. They are trained to save lives. Yeah. They are trained. At times, they may have to use necessary deadly physical force.
Right.
But the bottom line is, God bless them and all the people, the men and women in blue, are first responders in this country. And the hell with these anti-King people.
I love it. Thank you, Larry. You have a good one, man. There goes Larry. See? Most of the people were very happy with ICE being in the airports. And for Chuck Schumer and Hakeem, and there were a few others, Swalwell and Shifty Schiff, that were saying that this will be a catastrophe and that people, there's a chance that they are going to assault people because of what we've seen on the streets. And then, their fantasy would be some family coming back from Orlando with Mickey ears and a young daughter wearing her Jedi outfit, and ICE just going over with the butt of a rifle and smacking dad across the bridge of the nose. Where do they get these scenarios that they're going to be conducting some military operation at the airport while they're helping people get through those abominable security lines? But that's what they do. It's all of them, the politicians, the Democrat politicians, liberals, the celebrities. They fantasize about what ICE is, what police officers do. And that fantasy is, it's always that they're oppressing the downtrodden, the people of color, the homeless. ICE is in there. Yeah, they're beating people coming back from vacation at the airport. This is their porn. This is what they think about, and it gets them all wound up. They would love it. And you could see their fantasies play out in movies. When you watch movies and TV shows that are written, produced, and starred in by liberal Democrats. They'll show, the evil police officer, and he's imposing upon the doctor at the hospital or somebody. He's a white supremacist. He's got Nazi tattoos. This is their dream. This is what they fantasize about. So when they go on these protests, they are protesting a fantasy in their head. They believe Donald Trump is acting like a king. He's going around off with their heads and starving the lowly serfs around the kingdom. They believe it. It is a weird mental illness, the left. They have the weirdest mental. It is a mental illness. Let's not mince words there. I never would have imagined that this many people could be mentally ill, but they are. You see them a lot in the videos. They're pretty interesting. Jim, Oakland, New Jersey, not Oakland, CA, Oakland, NJ. What's up, Jim?
How are we, Anthony?
Very well, my friend.
I'll tell you, this Bobby De Niro, you got to be kidding me, has no sense of reality. The man gets martinis Ubered from Nobu. He has no clue what's going on in the world.
They're the ones that are they're the ones that are trying to tell you how to live your life. They're the ones telling you how democracy works and they are the most catered to and pampered people in the world, not even just in this country. De Niro could go anywhere in the world and be treated like that. And they're the ones that are going to tell you, the people that have actual life experiences, that have to go to work and deal with public transportation and deal with illegals running around the city without an SUV and a bodyguard to whisk you away. And they're going to tell you who you should associate with, how to live your life. They're disgusting. They're disgusting people.
Terrible. You know what he is? He is a clown, and he does not amuse me.
No. Thank you, Jim. He is a clown, and he's not amusing. This is great. Jesse Ventura. Jesse the body and Jesse the mind. Jesse Ventura decided he's got to step in. He can't have all this going on without him getting a little attention. So he's been doing a few podcasts and news shows, and he's no fan of Donald J. No fan of Donald Trump, and he lets it be known. I think he's threatening to fight Donald Trump in this clip. Let me make sure we have the right clip first. Jesse the body and mind. I was a fighter, a governor. Where is that? Well, I don't think I could find the number. It's the first clip that is on the list. You got that one? Yeah? Oh, there it is. Thank you. This one is AC4 first. Yeah, AC4 first. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Back in mission control. All right.
Do you intend to run again for governor and therefore maybe president?
I don't necessarily intend to run again, but I'm working on something that could send me straight to Washington and go face to face with this guy.
Really? Well, you would run for
president?
president?
May be in the works.
I mean, he can't run for president again, so what would that involve?
Well, you'll have to find out, wait and see. I'm not going to spill it here.
You're not going to crash
But I'll put it to you this way. Wait. Piers, I'll put it to you this way. We withstood the onslaught of the Gestapo in Minnesota.
Oh,
well,
God.
I was taught in war to do this. You ensure that your backyard is secure. That's the first thing you do. Well, Minnesota's now secure. We've repelled the onslaught from Trump. Now it's time for us to go on the offense. So maybe it's time to send the Navy SEAL to Washington.
Oh, God.
Maybe it's time for a showdown between the Vietnam veteran and the draft dodger.
Do you actually mean a physical confrontation? Or?
No, but if he wants it, he's in the Hall of Fame. Let's both get in the ring.
In the ring. I call you into the squared circle, Donald Trump. Come on. I was a Navy SEAL. I have a move where I take my dentures out and I put them around his nose. And then I flying elbow on top of the dentures and it bites his nose off. That's how we do it in Minnesota. He's lost his effing mind, Jesse. The Navy SEAL. He was a frogman. Look, I'm not downplaying what Jesse did. Thank you for your cervix. I'm not downplaying what he did. I don't know much of what he did. He says he talks a lot about his service in Vietnam. But, there wasn't really a Navy SEAL operation back then. It was frogmen. He put on a wetsuit and a mask, and I guess he'd slap some explosives on stuff. Great gig. Sounds good. But he likes talking. Jesse likes talking, doesn't he? He's in the Hall of Fame. Let's get in the ring. He doesn't stop there. Jesse also talks about how Donald Trump got in to the WWE Hall of Fame, and this is a shocking allegation. Listen to this.
I feel that simply I was doing my job. I was doing what I was asked to do at the WWE. Trump being a Hall of Famer is a tragedy. This guy has never been in the ring. I got a good friend, Ken Patera, Olympian, first man to overhead press 500 pounds, 25 years in the wrestling business. Kenny Patera is not in the Hall of Fame. Donald Trump does not belong in the Wrestling Hall of Fame. He never earned it. You know what I had to do to get in the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame? At one point in my career, I wrestled 63 consecutive nights in a row. That's how you get in the Hall of Fame. When I was referring to putting a wrestler in the White House, I was talking about me, not him.
Really? That was a bit ambiguous.
Absolutely. I was the former governor of Minnesota. I'm the only real former wrestler. I don't include him. He's only in the Hall of Fame because he stopped an investigation against Vince McMahon, a sexual stuff.
Ooh. Wow, that's a hell of an allegation. Vince McMahon. He was found in one of the dressing rooms running his fingers through the chest hair of George the Animal Steele. I saw it with my own eyes. George was crying, saying he was sexually assaulted. What the hell is going on? That is a hell of an allegation, and that's why Trump is in the Hall of Fame. Donald, I'm putting you in the Hall of Fame. You kept me out of jail. And Jesse, you're fired. It's, he's still in that world. He's still in that cutting a promo, talking crap about the other guy world. He just shows up every so often. You forget about him. Because half the year I'm off the grid. I go down to Mexico, and I live in Guadalajara. I don't know what he does. I don't know where he goes, but he rears his ugly head every so often and comes back, and I couldn't be happier. So, he wants to get in the ring, have a little wrestling match at his age, at both of their ages, with Donald Trump. All right. Do it up, Jesse. I used to love that show he had, that that conspiracy theory show. I think it was called Conspiracy Theory. And it never worked. Like everything he had planned for the episode. Today we follow Jesse to Area 51. Will the governor gain access to the buildings holding aliens? Or perhaps an interstellar spaceship? Well, here I am, 30 miles from Area 51, and security's already told me to get the hell out of here. So it doesn't look like, what are they hiding? What are they possibly hiding from an ex-wrestler? Why won't they let an ex-Navy SEAL wrestler that wore a feather boa into Area 51? Gets you thinking, doesn't it? No, not really. Not really, Jesse. I don't think anyone's really allowed to just stroll into Area 51. Even the governor. No, that wasn't him. Yeah, that was Arnold. I was Jesse the Mind. Holy jeez, he is hilarious. All right, don't go anywhere. Back in a flash.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
It is the Anthony Cumia Show, and we've been talking about a few things. Of course, the No King's Day with all the celebrities, and Bruce Springsteen, who was doing his song Streets of Minneapolis. Yuck. And Martin, upstate New York, has something to say about that. Martin, what's up, man?
Hey, brother. Hey, great show, as always. If you were on every night, I'd listen to you every night.
Thank you. I would definitely go for that. We'll see what happens.
Okay. Well, I never, ever liked that Bruce Springsteen. I always thought he was a poser.
Yeah.
And before I got XM radio in my truck, and I only had FM, if he would come on the radio, I would switch to a Motorhead CD immediately anytime he came on the radio.
Oh, yeah. No comparison. Motorhead or Bruce, Motorhead's winning every time. Lemmy was a real man, not a poser.
Oh, yeah. Lemmy was the real thing. Lemmy, and he lived to be 70, surprisingly.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I was doing I think it was Vegas or AC, somewhere where there was a casino. And I got to hang out with him. He was a guest on the show, and he wasn't lying about the Jack Daniels. Like, people don't lie about that. Or Maker's Mark. And we drank. I could not keep up with him, and I considered myself a pretty good contender when it came to alcoholic beverages. But he was the real deal, man. He didn't put iced tea in a bottle and then get up on stage like he was, a crazy guy. He was a good egg.
Yeah. So when I was working, I used to be a sanitation man. I worked. So a coworker, I was talking to a coworker about Bruce Springsteen, and my coworker said to me something I didn't even think of. Mm-hmm. He said to me, when he's singing, he sounds like he's taking a dump. Born in the USA. It sounds like he's taking a dump.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, honey, can you get me some toilet paper? I'm stranded on the bowl.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My God, I don't understand what people like about this guy. And now he's turned out to be a total idiot.
He's another one of these, holier than thou, entitled Hollywood people that, again, don't live a normal life, don't know how the vast majority of Americans live, yet they want to tell them how they should live their lives. It's terrible.
Yeah.
All right, Martin. Thank you for the call, my brother. Have a good one. Yep. That's how it goes. We got a few other things to talk about this evening. Jimmy Kimmel, this guy's another one. Boy, if this show doesn't expose these people for what they are, another Hollywood elitist that looks at you, the working class people of this country, like you're pieces of garbage. And he knows better. The people he hangs around with are better than you. He's better than you. And he lets it be known on his show. This was really a disgusting display. He gets on his show, and of course, Mark Wayne Mullins, the new head of Homeland Security, used to be a plumber. This guy ran a plumbing business, a family plumbing business, which I'll get into in a minute because it's pretty impressive. But Jimmy Kimmel mocks the guy for being a plumber. Listen to this. You got that clip, guys?
Rudy Giuliani might not be with us much longer, but don't worry, Trump's got a whole new generation of thinkers lined up, including his newly confirmed Secretary of Homeland Security, Mark Wayne, Chuck Mike, Bruce Dave Mullen. Maybe Mellon's better. He is the now former senator of Oklahoma. Before he was elected to the Senate, Mark Wayne Mullen was a low-level MMA fighter and a plumber. That's right. We have a plumber protecting us from terrorism now. It works for Super Mario. Why not Mark Wayne? But honestly, I mean, if Trump is going to keep picking these unqualified people to run the department, why not have more fun with it? I mean, next time, instead of Mark Wayne, how about Little Wayne for Homeland Security? At least we could get a concert out of it, right? Mullen is replacing Kristi Noem, who was ousted 3 weeks ago and will never be seen again.
Ugh. You see the contempt? The contempt for working class Americans. He looks down on them, not qualified. And as far as being a plumber, this is an amazing story. In 1997, he assumed control of his family's plumbing business. He was 20 years old. The business had 6 employees at the time. His wife, Kristi, postponed her degree to assist Mullen. By July 2011, Mullen Plumbing had become Oklahoma's largest plumbing service company. Mullen also owned Mullen Environmental, Mullen Services, and Mullen Properties and ranches in Adair and Wagoneer County. According to the Oklahoman, he owned 8 businesses by July 2013. In December 2021, he sold off his businesses, probably for a lot of money, and his family continued to operate the plumbing business. Yeah, how about that? A successful guy who ran multiple businesses, paying people. This is an employer paying people, building businesses, contributing to his city, state, and the country. But that garners contempt from Jimmy Kimmel and the like. What a piece of garbage. How this guy still has a show is beyond me. Colbert at least is getting the boot. But Kimmel, who's watching it? Who's laughing and applauding in the audience that a plumber is now head of Homeland Security? These people. You cannot despise them enough. Back in a minute.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. And let's pop on. This is a story that no one's really talking about these days, and I'm wondering why. Rich from New Jersey, how you doing, Rich?
Hey, Anthony,
is bringing it up. What's up?
This is 2 parts. Every Italian family in New Jersey has an Anthony.
Hey, yeah.
Okay, my father, Vincent Patrick, born on St. Patty's Day, Danny, David, and Richard. He didn't give us any Italian names because we would call all the ethnic slurs, and I'm half Irish, but that's beside the point. Number 2, this Guthrie thing. My girlfriend works at assisted living in Hackensack at night.
Nancy,
and they have
Nancy
a thing
Guthrie.
around their neck.
Yeah.
It's first alert, okay?
Right.
There's a problem, you hit the button. And you see the commercial, I've fallen and I can't get up.
A classic.
Why didn't she have that thing around her neck? for any problem?
Yeah, there are a few things that should have given some clues. She has a pacemaker, but those you can't track that like GPS. Once you're away from a night table or wherever the base unit is, it no longer gives any telemetry or anything about an ailment, like when her heart would have stopped. If they do find her at some point and she is deceased, they'll be able to download the data from the pacemaker to find out when she indeed died. But I don't think the life call thing works as a GPS either. Maybe she was prevented from hitting it by the person that abducted her, if she was abducted. This just seems like an inside job, some kind of inside family thing that went wrong, and they just got rid of her. I don't know how, but it's an interesting mystery that I'm going to wait for on Forensic Files when we finally get a solution to this
she
whole
was
thing.
probably hit in the head. Well, that's where the blood would come. Because
Right.
if you hurt, you know what I'm saying? So she's probably knocked out or something. That's what.
Yeah.
If you hit somebody in their body, the blood wouldn't perfuse that way.
Right. The head. Yeah, you hit her in the head. And an old person like that, they can't really take much abuse. So I think she probably died very early on in this whole episode. And now whoever did it is just trying to keep it from being found out about. So.
Yeah. Okay, Anthony.
All right, Rich. Thanks, man. I was wondering, like, that story. I think our daughter, she works for some show. I'm not really too up on what's going on there, but she went back to work. I think even she's like, meh, what are you going to do? We got to move on. Life goes on. Bob Costas. Famous, was he sports guy and announcer. He came out and said that there should not be trans women in the Olympics. When you got a guy that decides he's a woman and he goes through the hormone treatment, he grows his hair or wears a wig, and it's just so friggin' weird. They shouldn't be allowed to compete in sports, in any sport, but the Olympics, that's a huge one. We remember the massacre a couple of years back in Olympic boxing when these poor women were forced to fight a man. And this guy pounded the crap out of these women. They left looking like they were put in a lion's cage. So it's interesting to see a pretty big personality, especially in sports, like Bob Costas, talking about this. And again, years ago, this would have been, well, yeah, of course. Why are we even discussing this? But in today's environment, this is courageous. This is something that needed to be said, because all you'll hear Bob talk about here is common sense. This is complete common sense. This used to be how everyone thought when we were a proper country. But now it's some controversial statement that he's making here. Oh, men shouldn't compete against women in the Olympics? Yeah, they shouldn't. Let's listen to Mr. Costas. Again, I don't have the number. I'm the worst. You got it? Okay.
You were the face of the Olympics for so many years. This news today about the IOC basically banning trans athletes, that there's going to be a genetic test.
Yeah.
Your reaction to that and this very complicated issue?
Give me enough time to address this so I'm not misunderstood. There are people who use this issue cynically for political purposes, and they're demonizing people who happen to be trans, who should be treated with respect and dignity and understanding. However, common sense is not transphobic.
There you go.
There's a reason why the high school champions don't compete with the college champions. There is a reason why no trans man who was once a woman and has become a man has ever competed successfully with men in the Olympics. If Caitlin Clark could play in the NBA, everybody would applaud it. That'd be an incredible thing. But if the last guy on the bench of an NBA team went to the WNBA and started averaging 40 points a game, everyone would know that is BS. There's a reason why Sugar Ray Leonard, who was a contemporary of Mike Tyson, didn't fight Mike Tyson. They were in different weight classes. There is a reason why there are men's and women's sports, and why Title IX was one of the truly progressive pieces of legislation in the best sense of the word progressive under the Nixon administration. It changed everything. I had a sister who never played a single organized sport. One generation later, 2 children of my own. My daughter played just about as many organized sports as my son. That's a great thing. It doesn't make any sense to have a swimmer who was the 472nd ranked swimmer when he was a man at Penn, either winning or coming close to winning against women a year and a half after transitioning. If that's what the person wants to do, that person should be treated with dignity and respect. But there ought to be common sense, and common sense is not transphobic.
And this policy is common sense.
Yes, this policy, the way Kirsty Coventry laid it out from Lausanne in the clip that you played is exactly correct.
And
wow. He's taken some heat for that, which is, again, insane. That is common sense. It shouldn't even have to be said. And he's up there just saying, giving examples of women and men and why they don't compete. People bring it up all the time. They say, why are there men's and women's sports? Why are they separate then? If a transgender woman can get into a sport and dominate over women, why is that okay? Why wouldn't it be okay if, as he stated, a man just comes off the bench and jumps into a woman's sport? He would dominate it. It's the same thing. To try to use semantics, it's a trans woman. Yeah, all right. You call it what you like. As far as the sporting world goes, that's a dude competing against women and dominating. So for him to catch any heat for saying that, it shows you just how far we've fallen as a proper nation when things like that even have to be said. Could you imagine that being said in the 70s, in the 1970s Olympics? Hey, we probably shouldn't have men that think they're women competing in the Olympics. They'd be like, what? Where is that? What planet are you on? Where is that even happening? Oh, sorry, I just came back in time for a little while, and I was a little confused as to the year I was in. I thought I was in 2026, the future. And people would think you're insane. That'll never happen. Yeah, it will. I hate to have to tell you. It absolutely will happen. So many things that we never would have expected because it was just inconceivable. And here we are. Here we are. Healthy breasts being removed because a child believes that they are in the wrong body sexually. So they do that. I saw another victim of propaganda online the other day, a pretty girl, and now, the short hair, the sullen face, used to have a nice girl's face, a girl face. And now it's this sullen thing, like Elliot Page. I'm so happy that I'm finally in the body I was supposed to be in. I'm so happy to be in this body. I was so miserable for so many years, Now you can see the joy on my face. Hi, Eeyore. They just walk around the most miserable looking and sounding people. And then you look before, and they're all, bright and cheery and pretty. This never would have been a thing. It never should have been a thing. But you put enough mental patients in charge for a period of time, and this is the world you get. Absolutely. All right. Hey, don't go anywhere. Plenty more to come.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show, and I certainly don't want people to think I'm avoiding any topics on this show, so we will go to the always controversial Matt from the Bronx. Matt, what's up, man?
Hey, Anthony. Well, I'll tell you, with regard to the Iran situation, it seems like the rabbit hole is going deeper than we thought. Donald Trump told us that there would be no ground boots on the ground or no ground troops invading Iran. But now we have the 82nd Airborne, 2 Marine task forces. God knows who else is going to be thrown into the mix. And it looks like it's a forever war in the making. And the ironic thing is that a lot of these neoconservatives who are ethnically Jewish and politically Zionist, they want Israel as a Jewish state. And that's why, and let's face it, Joe Kent was right. The reason why we're going to war with Iran is to accommodate Israel. There's no other reason for it. Joe Kent resigned because he was an honorable man from the military, and he spoke the truth. But these guys who are the neoconservatives, the pro-Zionists, the Israel lobby, they want Israel as a Jewish state, but these same people turn around and support open borders immigration into the United States, where the United States can't have a European majority. In other words, the United States can't be a white European country, but we must send white Americans and other Americans to the Middle East to die for Israel to maintain a Jewish majority country in the Middle East.
Can I ask you something, Matt? Without an opinion on whether you like or dislike the war, I think I know where you stand. Is there anything you could see that would be positive for the United States to have gone into this battle with Iran?
I would say no. Insofar as that, there's nothing positive. Again, it's gonna cost taxpayer money. It's gonna cost. It looks like increasingly more lives of our men and women in uniform, and it's going to lower the goodwill of the United States in that region of the world. More people will hate us. More people will be tempted and inspired to attack us in terrorist attacks as a repercussion. And again, that's why we were attacked on 9/11. Our heavy-handed support for Israel in that region of the world. And again, we haven't learned the lesson of 9/11. So it's almost 25 years ago. And we're still doing the same thing, the same playbook. We're being used as Israel's cheap prostitute in that region of the world to do her dirty work and run dangerous errands for the Jewish state at the expense of the national security of the United States.
Right.
And it has to stop. It has to stop.
Well, thank you for the call and your opinion, Matt. It's that's look, he's got an opinion that is shared by a lot of people. I don't personally think that everything we do, even this Iranian thing, has to be linked, to Israel putting the carrot out and America chomping at it. I think there are certain elements of this conflict that are advantageous to the United States, most of them being financial. I think a Middle East that is all of the nations of the Middle East are part of the world economy would help the United States. another country that buys things and sells things to the U.S. Look at all the other countries in the Middle East. They've all capitulated. They're all playing nicely with each other and the rest of the world economically. What do you think? A lot of these Middle Eastern nations like Israel now? You think Israel likes them? What changed? They all are in business with each other now. And the United States is no different. We like having countries that are in business with each other. First of all, it does foster some peace. It's sort of a détente, but without weapons. It's with depending on other countries economically. If your country, let's say you're China. Let's say you're China, and you are really pissed at the U.S. and you want to go to war like the old days, you know. You just want to go to war with the United States of America. You can't do it. You are too dependent on the United States economically now. When they decided to jump into the global economy many years ago, you know, China, a giant country, was very isolated many years ago. And they didn't need the rest of the world. They were very impoverished, and I think a lot of their people still are. But they became part of the world economy. Nations depend on them. They depend on other nations. So if you just want to start lobbing missiles at someone, you got to realize, am I in bed with them financially? And I think the Middle East hasn't been as volatile as it has been years ago because each of the countries depends on the other ones financially, and they depend on the rest of the world buying and selling their goods. So you're not looking at these countries that are just rogue nations looking to start crap with the free world, as they say, except Iran. Iran is the last holdout over there, really, that is still sponsoring terrorism. They're still the loose cannon. You know, you got to wonder about the nukes. They're like North Korea. Only North Korea isn't really in a place where they could do a lot of damage to their neighbors. You know, there's South Korea, but they already know what's going to happen in that case if they try to get a little feisty with their neighbors over there. So they're kind of kept in check. But Iran has been a terrorist nation forever, you know, since the 70s. So I don't know. Maybe it is to smack them around, get them in line, and play nice with the rest of the world. Does that benefit Israel? Of course it does. But having a Middle East that isn't constantly ready to tear apart at the seams is kind of beneficial for everybody, you know, for the rest of the free world, as they say. And I'm not agreeing with this. I'm not saying this is the right thing. You know, maybe screw Iran. Let them rot without having to play nice with the rest of the world. But that would be a scenario where it's not just Israel leading America around by the nose. There is an interest with the United States and the rest of the world to perhaps get them in line. I don't know. Or not. I could say that too. Or not. Let's take one more. Oh, look at this. Pete, Staten Island. This damn Guthrie case that I really don't care about. But quickly, we're kind of running out of time in this break. What do you have to say about it?
All right, I think that she's under like a Jane Doe, maybe one of these nursing homes, because I was in a nursing home for a little while last year, and I found a John Doe who owned a bar that his family put him in the home because he had a little dementia, and he ended up taking over his bar. So now he's back in the bar and he's running the place. So there's stuff like this happens, you know.
You think maybe they dumped her off in a old folks home with dementia?
Maybe. And they, you know what? When you do that, they could say, who visited and who don't visit, because I know that.
It's a little, I think with the FBI involved and all kinds of other things, and her picture all over the place, it might be a little difficult to hide an old person in an old folks' home there, Pete.
Could have done a little plastic surgery and stuff, the way they do it now.
Mission Impossible style. All
Yeah,
right. Well,
throwing the fish in the fell.
throw it against the wall, see what sticks. All right. Thanks, Pete. That's mental. That is a mental theory right there. Yeah, I don't know. But, yeah, we got plenty more. I want to talk about this Philly DA, Larry, what's his name? Larry Kramer? No, not Craner. Cranmer. He's threatening ICE agents with arrest because they're in the airports. They're taking care of business, making sure people could get through these lines. And he's another one that thinks ICE is going to start smashing people over the head with rifle butts at the airport instead of helping out. And if that happens, old Philly DA Larry, he says he's not going to take that kind of guff, and he's going to arrest ICE agents, and there's nothing even the president can do about it. Back in a minute.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. And, we're talking about the airports. They had been a mess. I guess they're better now. All the fear that the politicians like Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries had been throwing around didn't quite pan out. So Philadelphia District Attorney Larry Krasner was threatening ICE agents with arrest. I love these guys because New York's Zoran Memdani, he's another one that thinks a New York City mayor has the power to do anything he wants. Remember the fast free buses, the rent freezes, the state-run grocery stores, taxing, the death tax that he wants to put 50% on people that earn more than $700,000 a year, $750,000 a year. All these things he cannot do. He can present them, and then a lot of other people, state officials, city officials, the governor, have to sign off on this. And Hochul has already told Memdani that she's not going to raise taxes. And raising taxes was his entire thing. Everything he ran on, every promise he made, free child care, it was all free stuff. It hinged on raising taxes on, the wealthy, which, meanwhile, it meant people that in a city like New York would just be getting by. So he can't do this alone. And a lot of these people think because they have this position of power that they're able to just do whatever they want. This Philly DA, Larry Krasner, with ICE going into airports, he was telling ICE, hey, if you start beating travelers over the head, if you start hauling moms and dads taking their kids home from Disney away, you're going to be arrested. And Larry's the guy you're going to see at that prosecution table in court. And if you think Larry is going to be light on you, you got another thing coming, my friend. Just listen to the threats Larry makes here. AC7.
This is how it works. You commit crimes within the jurisdiction that is the city and county of Philadelphia, I prosecute you. That is how it works. No, I don't take a phone call from the president saying let him go. No, the president cannot pardon you. I'll say it again. The president cannot pardon you.
Tough guy.
And yes, I will put you in handcuffs, and I will put you in a courtroom, and if necessary, I will put you in a jail cell. If you decide to make the terrazzo floor of this airport anything like what you did in the streets of Minneapolis.
Why would that happen?
Which involved the criminal homicide of unarmed, innocent people. We are not having that here.
Oh.
But let me go back.
New sheriff in town.
To all ICE agents who are going to keep their oath, who are going to follow the law and uphold the Constitution of the United States, thank you for keeping your oath. To any agent who might think about doing it an illegal way, I'll be seeing you in court, and you're not going to like it.
What a dolt. How many ICE agents, even out on the street, not even in the airport, out on the street, in Minneapolis, even the ICE agents that shot those two people, Renee Good and Alex Pretty, how many have been arrested for doing their jobs? I'll tell you, none. None. Zero of them have been arrested. But if you bring that type of behavior to the airport in Philly, old Larry Krasner is going to be right up your butt, hauling you into court. That's what's going to happen. This guy actually believes this. If you take what you were doing out there on the streets into this airport, yeah, like what? They're there to give out water and make sure that the bins are delivered back to the beginning of the line. That's what they're doing. But if, you start hauling away people and deporting them from the airport, old Larry Krasner is going to be there. You'll have to answer to him. And don't try to call Donald Trump for a pardon. It ain't happening. So even what they saw as the worst possible behavior, what these celebrities have called Gestapo, brutes with guns, all of that happened out in the field with ICE, none of the agents were arrested because they were adhering to the laws. They weren't doing anything against the law that would have gotten them arrested. But Larry says, you come into that airport all ready and raring to go to lock up someone coming back from Cancun, there might be problems. Well, Carolyn Levitt, she has an answer. Of course, she's press secretary. She's got an answer to District Attorney Larry Krasner and his threats of arrest to the ICE agents. AC 8.
And today, Philadelphia District Attorney Larry Krasner reiterated threats to potentially arrest ICE agents that were sent in to assist with these historically long TSA lines. He said, quote, "The president cannot pardon you." Has the president seen Krasner's comments? Does he have any response?
The president cannot pardon you for what? He's talking to the ICE agents who are handing out water bottles and are helping people move through lines at airports. It's a disgraceful comment. The men and women of ICE are great people. I would encourage this lawmaker, whose name I don't know and don't care to know, to actually sit down and speak with the ICE agents who are on the ground doing this important work, not just in our nation's airports, but again, to remove violent, dangerous, illegal alien criminals from our country, to protect this individual and all of us in this room and Americans across the country from murderers, pedophiles, and rapists who have been allowed into our country by Democrat politicians. Mario, good to see you.
Boom. That was good. Well-spoken, relevant to the topic. Yeah, Larry Krasner has no authority. And what are they doing wrong? What have they done wrong? But again, Philly and Pennsylvania, sanctuary city. Philly is a sanctuary city. You saw I think it was the mayor at the time when they signed this, doing a little dance. He was dancing when they made it a sanctuary city a few years back. And if these people like Larry and the rest of these blue city, sanctuary city, phony leadership spent as much time and energy as they spend bad-mouthing ICE, and criticizing what they do and threatening to put them in jail, if they took that time and energy and resources in rounding up criminal, violent illegals, calling ICE, instead of threatening to arrest them, getting on the phone and calling them and saying, we have one for you. He's here in this jail. He was arrested for such and such a crime, and we need you to pick him up and get him the hell out of here. If they were doing that, the citizens of those cities wouldn't have to worry about being murdered by these people, like we see happening all over the place in every major city in this country that has deemed themselves sanctuary cities. So how do you look at someone like Larry Krasner and his ilk and think they have the best interest of the citizens of their city in mind when they are going out of their way, bending over backwards to protect the violent criminals that are harming, if not murdering, the citizens, innocent citizens? And they protect these people all the time. That's all they want to do. They will never speak ill of them. You know, we talk about Brandon Johnson in Chicago. He's another one. He will never say a bad word. When people are approached about murders, like Sheridan Gorman in Illinois and Chicago, they don't want to say, hey, she was killed by an illegal. Maybe we do need to look into this. Maybe we do need to look at our sanctuary city policies. They would never do that. They take all their strength to twist and turn and excuse these violent murderers. And I talked about this earlier. I wanted to play this clip. It's just a couple of days after Sheridan Gorman was murdered in Chicago, a Loyola student, and she wanted to walk around with her friends. The crime of walking around a sanctuary city with friends. And she was shot and killed by an illegal alien. And Brandon Johnson decided he was going to christen. He was going to pay tribute to a snowplow that was part of a contest to name the snowplow, and I guess they settled on Abolish ICE. That's the name of the truck. It's painted on the side of the truck. It says Abolish ICE. Days after an illegal murdered a Loyola student. How are we supposed to look at someone like Brandon Johnson and think he has the best interest of the citizens of Chicago in mind? The bodies pile up every week in Chicago under his tenure as mayor because he refuses to address real problems and make the difficult decisions. Who are murdering people? Who are the people? Who are these people murdering citizens in Chicago? Let's do something about that. But no. Blame the victim. Blame anything but the actual problem. So here's Brandon Johnson, mayor of Chicago, having a great day, renaming a snowplow Abolish ICE. That's what he's doing. Do you got this one?
And to all of the residents who participated in our snowplow naming contest, keep speaking up in every way and any way that you can. I look forward to meeting with the Chicagoans who submitted the winning names, and I look forward to seeing our city's pride, our spirit, and even, yes, our humor represent us again next year. And so with that, take a moment to, I guess, take in all that you all have been waiting for. This moment is finally here. The snowplow with the most votes, most entries, Abolish ICE. Thank you very much. Look at this. Let's see what's happening here. marvel myself.
I want to get a chance to marvel at it myself. A dead girl, a dead student, and he wants to marvel at abolish the agency that if you cooperated with them as per the law, not your sanctuary city nonsense, she would still be alive. What a slap in the face. A punch in the gut and a slap in the face to the Gorman family, the family of this murdered girl. To days later have a truck behind the mayor as he's cheering on abolish ICE painted on the side of this truck. You couldn't be more tone deaf to what's going on in your city. What a piece of garbage. Just a piece of garbage. And then you have the Loyola student newspaper. This is the Phoenix, the Loyola Phoenix, which originally reported accurately on accused killer Jose Medina. His name is Jose Medina. His status as an illegal alien after he was charged on Monday with the execution of 18-year-old Gorman. That's an execution, Bruce. Immigrant man charged in murder of Sheridan Gorman. DHS involved. The student paper's headlines originally read, referring to the Venezuelan man as illegal immigrant. So it originally said illegal immigrant charged in the murder of Sheridan Gorman. Well, we can't have that. The Phoenix later edited the story to describe Medina as a Rogers Park resident instead of an illegal immigrant. Rogers Park resident in reference to the Chicago neighborhood where Loyola's main campus is located and where Gorman was walking with friends when she was shot dead earlier on Thursday. The headline did not reflect the most important element of the story, and it was taken down minutes later to prevent any further harm to affected community members, the newspaper said. They didn't want to harm the community members by calling this guy an illegal immigrant. A girl's dead. This guy murdered her. He was here illegally. And the Loyola Phoenix, the staff, the crack staff at the Loyola Phoenix can only think of the harm that would be done calling him an illegal immigrant. Additionally, in the body of the original post, we described the man who was charged as an illegal immigrant, using language provided by the Department of Homeland Security. That language does not align with Associated Press style, nor does it align with the values of this newspaper, the editor's note continued. No human existence is illegal, and we quickly changed our wording to reflect that, the student newspaper wrote, despite noting in the article that Medina was living in the United States illegally. The college newspaper's U-turn has sparked a furious response from many. Yeah, I don't doubt it. Can you believe that? They were apologizing for calling him an illegal immigrant and saying that no human is illegal. Was Sheridan Gorman illegal? Because she was eliminated pretty quickly by this illegal alien. How do we fix this? How is this fixed? Because I don't have a clue. It just seems like these stories come out and you read them and you look at them and you get mad, and then the same type of people are put in these positions of media and politics and film, entertainment, and it just continues. There is a huge threat in this country with illegal aliens being here. Like Trump said, they're not sending their best, not sending their brightest. No, they're not. And he was absolutely right when he said they're sending criminals, why pay for convicts in prisons when you know Joe Biden had an open door policy at our southern border? You go to a prisoner and go, hey, you want to stay in here or we let you go and you hump your ass up to the United States and do what you want up there. You'd run. And they knew damn well the border was wide open under Joe Biden. That Biden administration and all the other ones, Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, all of them responsible for the danger that and the death that's already occurred and the inevitable deaths that will continue to occur because they allowed these murderous illegals into this country. And ICE is the bad guys. Trump is the bad guy. Border Patrol is the bad guy. Yeah, no kings. All right, back in a moment. Stick around.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show, and let's go right to Scott, Venice, Florida. What's up, Scott?
Hey, Anthony. How are you doing tonight?
Very good, sir.
First of all, I'd like to say, if I touch on something that you'd already talked about, I apologize. I just got back from a week off all media just to kind of recenter my brain.
I got you. All good, man.
But, you know, this whole no king thing, you're right. Trump is the worst king I've ever seen in my life. But the real kings in this country are these unchecked judges. They go on just they're imposing their will with no regard for the law. Like all the names you mentioned, these innocent American citizens killed by people that were here illegally, breaking the law, and these judges just let them walk amongst us, even after they're caught. That's the kings that need to be reined in this country, and it makes me furious. I have to bite my tongue to make sure I don't say the wrong thing.
I know, believe me, I know. They sit on those benches, and they don't dispense justice. They dispense their political agenda, how they feel, their racial agenda a lot of times. And, you know, justice is supposed to be blind. It ain't. These judges are manipulating the system. They're letting out murderers, literal murderers, to roam the streets once again because that they feel they are deserved something. They don't take into consideration the danger to the public, the crimes that were committed, the sentences they could give them instead of parole or an ankle bracelet. And it winds up, again, endangering the public. And it's not some thing that might happen. It's not that people might be killed. They are being killed by these people that these judges are releasing into the general population.
Yeah, and the worst is they're not interpreting the law equally either amongst other criminals. That's what really is irritating. And like in this country, so many states hold bartenders responsible if they overserve someone. But none of these judges are held responsible if they let a killer go and that killer kills somebody while they're out on parole.
No accountability whatsoever. They make decisions, and again, if you're making a decision based on the law itself and something happens where somebody that you had to release because the law said you had to release them and they do something terrible, I wouldn't blame the judge. I wouldn't hold that judge responsible. They're working within the parameters of the law. These are activist judges. They are putting their own will, their own ideology into the case and into their decision making, and they need to be held responsible when they do things like that. Absolutely.
I absolutely agree. Hey, one last question, completely off topic. Did you happen to get those prints of those World War II fighters I sent you?
Oh, I did. Thank you. That was you, huh?
Yeah. I just wanted to make. I saw them, and I'm like, you know who'd appreciate these? My friend Ant would appreciate these a lot.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, no,
Very cool.
I appreciate it. I'm a big fan of the era, as they say.
Yeah, I know. As well as I.
All
Great
right,
talking to you again, my friend.
Very cool, man. Take it easy. Yeah, Yeah, the judges being held responsible. Well, that's something we would never see. And they're activists. They're just as crazy as the No Kings protesters we saw. They have the same agenda, a lot of these people, and they refuse to actually use the law instead of their own emotions and ideology to dispose of cases. And it's terrible. It must be very difficult for a real judge to have to put away their emotion, their beliefs, their personal beliefs, and run a case based on nothing but case law. It's got to be tough. You got to go like, God, I would love to do this, but that isn't my place as a judge. But that's what we have now. They're doing that. Quickly, I hope we got time for this. Yeah, play the Boston Mayor Woo. Listen to this nonsense coming out of Boston, a once great city. You got that?
You cannot talk about any achievement that the city of Boston has had in safety, jobs, and economic development, in education, without talking about the Somali community that has lifted our city up. We are proud and we are grateful for our Somali community and for our Somali American neighbors. Boston and the country are clear that hate has no place in our society. We will use every attack to actually strengthen and expand the services available, to empower and work alongside our community members who are already doing so much good in the world and setting an example for the rest of the country.
Everything Boston's achieved is because of Somalis? Do you know when Somalis started coming into this country? The 90s, 1990s, not 18, not 17, 1990s. Boston's been around for a while before the 90s when they started bringing in Somalis. Over 300 years of Boston being Boston. Some amazing things have come out of Boston. MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, the innovations that have come out of it, the revolution, the beginning of America being America. But none of that if it wasn't for Somalis. There's your Boston Mayor Woo. Be better, Boston. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. We do adore you. And we will be back next week. Same bat time, same bat station. And see you then. Have a great rest of your week. Have a good one.
Thanks for listening to The Anthony Cumia Show. You can hear The Anthony Cumia Show Sunday nights at 8. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
Hey, it's Anthony Cumia. Other jewelers hate Steven Singer. Why? Because Steven Singer has the best real natural diamond stud earrings in America. Everybody knows gold and diamond prices are crazy right now. Gold at the highest price in history. That means ever. Lucky for you, Steven Singer has locked in his diamond studs at the old prices. Steven has diamond studs available from a quarter carat all the way up to 10 carats total weight. All at the same perfect price as last year. Same incredible value. There's no better time to get a pair of diamond stud earrings from Steven Singer Jewelers. Yes, this can't last forever. Each pair eye flawless, near colorless, beautiful stuff. They come with his safety silicone bags, so you never have to worry about losing them. Oh, okay. And with his unbeatable full-time value lifetime trade-in, you know your diamonds are always worth what you paid. All backed by the best guarantee in the jewelry business. It's a full 100-day, 100% no-hassle money-back guarantee. Plus fast free shipping. Experience the difference at Steven Singer Jewelers. Online at IHateStevenSinger.com. That's IHateStevenSinger.com.